Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to show you that you don't need to necessarily spend hundreds of dollars to collect beautiful cards. Today I'm going to show you 15 illustration rares that cost less than $20 and why I think they're worth picking up. So first up here we have Gloom from Obsidian Flames. This one of course is a Gen 1 Pokemon and I absolutely love the color palette of this artwork. From pinks to dark purples and blues. You also have extra Pokemon in the image with the Weedles down here in the bottom right hand corner. I always love cards that you get more than one Pokemon pictured within the card, and I just think that's a really cool aspect of this one. This card at its 6-month top was about $18, almost $19, and right now we're currently sitting at about almost $9. We have one outlier sale of about $15. But the rest of our last solds are still within that same range of almost about $9 to $8. I can't remember if during this run this was one of the victims of all those crazy illustration rare buyouts, but it seems for the last little while the card has sort of stabilized and has sit at its current price and hasn't been messed with. Obsidian Flames is an older set. I don't think they're gonna just all of a sudden start reprinting it. Of course, it's always possible. I think overall the artwork is extremely beautiful and very detailed with bright colors and nice contrasting. And I think if you like Generation 1 Pokemon and you like beautiful artwork, it's a good one to have in the collection. Next up, we have Lily's Rabombi from Journey Together. I think this card is absolutely beautiful artwork. It looks almost like a oil painting, I guess maybe. It looks like it was done where the artist had them both make a pose and, you know, they painted the picture and this is the result that we got. We have Lily, who's a fan favorite character, and Rabombi. We see Rabombi here looking absolutely happy, probably because there's not a Necrozema around or a light that burns the sky, if you guys know the joke that I'm talking about. Yeah, and then on top of that, I think Journey Together is a sneakily underrated set. Everybody's hating on it right now, maybe because it doesn't have a ton of resale value or anything like that. But I mean, I honestly believe that Journey Together is one of those sets where once it's out of print, then all of a sudden everybody will want some of these beautiful artworks that come within it. Looking at the 6-month chart here, the highest the card ever was about almost $16. We've seen it's just been trending downwards ever since. It hit the bottom back in like late June, early July. And now we're just sitting at a cool $6 market price. If we take a look at the last solds here, we have $7, low 6s, almost an 8, 2 8s about, another 7. So it's around 6, 7, 8, you know, we can call it $7. It did hit a bottom, which was, you know, almost 5. And now we're trending at around $6 to $7, so it did recover, and it looks like it's starting to trend a little bit sideways, maybe. So we look at the more zoomed in chart, and yeah, we're kind of just hitting that 568. So it did bounce off of a bottom, and you know now we've trended back up a little bit. So I haven't seen a lot of Journey Together in stores. The only Journey Together that I've seen is people getting it from vending machines. Most of your local store restocks I've seen have just been more recent sets like Destin, Prismatic, sometimes, and Surging. I haven't seen really any Journey in stores. But yeah, I truly think this set is underrated. I think it has some beautiful artworks in it. And, you know, I think some of these cards might do well in the very long term, you know, 5-10 years, once the set is well out of print. And I think people will look back at Journey Together pretty fondly. So I think it's a good pickup if you can get it for this, you know, $5 to $7 range, and you know, just hold on to a couple copies if you want, and maybe see if you can get one that's gradable. Next up, we got Team Rocket's Raticate from Destin Rivals. So this is a newer one. I would urge some caution with this one just because it's a newer set. It's no longer the newest set now that we have Black and White out. Gen 1 Pokemon. You get a little extra Pokemon on the card with Rattata in the back, and you have the iconic Team Rocket on the card. To me, I love the artwork on this card. It looks like it came straight from Gen 2. I know I said Gen 1 Pokemon, but you know, Gen 2 and Gen 1 go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. This image almost makes me think of like a Generation 2 anime with the Rockets taking over the radio tower, and we have them running through the bottom there and everything and tearing stuff up. So it's a really cool little artwork. I like it a lot. And looking at the chart here, we have a high of $10. And looks like we're about $9 If we look at the last solds here, we still have about $8. We have a sale for $7, $10, $9.99, $10, $6, $6, $10. So it's still hovering around 10 bucks. It's kind of where it was at the high. It's a little bit lower depending on where you can get it and how much you can get it for. Again, it's a newer set. You can wait to see if it goes lower. It very may well go lower, but if you like the artwork, I'd go ahead and pick it up. Next up, we have Scarlet from Surging Sparks. I absolutely love this Pokemon. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from the Scarlet and Violet era. We finally have a cool Ghost and Fire type. Sorry, Chandelier fans. I love the background on the artwork. It looks like he's in some kind of castle or like hallway. Yeah, this card is, if you want to talk about picking up something at a good deal, card is one of those good deals now. We're sitting at about $16 for market price, with last solds of, we have one at $20. We have some Korean stuff, but we have $16. We have $15. We have $17, $15, $15, $16, $17. So I think that was a light play on the 16, but we have 17. So we have, about $17, $15 to $17. You can get you a near mint copy. But this card was crazy. Initially, we come from a 6-month high of $35, and now we're at a low of $16. So it lost a little bit over half of its value in the last, few months. I've even heard, going to card shows, I hear vendors talk, and, a lot of them were upset, about taking in any grade 10s because it lost so much value. I think at one point it was over $300, $400 or something, some crazy number, and people lost their shirts on it because the card totally tanked. And I think some of that has to do with Surging Sparks reprints. A lot of it has to do with early Surging Sparks hype because of the scarcity. People were buying and selling stuff like at crazy prices, and things got a little bit out of control, and eventually it corrected, and then the summer slump hit and you see it corrected again. So it's just like it's gone down and it's gone down and it's just continued to go down. But again, we're at the ass end of summer. I don't know how much further this card will go down. It very may well reach down to about $10, but I can't say. I mean, it seems like from around the time since all this craziness happened and the scarcity started happening, a lot of people complain about not being able to get Surging or Prismatic. So I feel like the Pokemon Company hears those concerns and is targeting those sets for reprints. So yeah, this card can definitely go lower, but as far as we're talking about in the short term, if you like the art, it's basically half off from where it was. Can't time the bottom. If you see a good place you want to get in and pick this art up for yourself, you can. I know I'm probably going to look at picking up another one. I had a PSA 10 copy. I didn't buy it at the top or anything. I had gotten it I had gotten the raw copy in a trade, and then I graded it out to a PSA 10. And then I ended up selling that copy, for like maybe $150, $160. So I had barely any investment at all into the card. And now I feel like for myself personally, it's a good time for me to buy back in at a lower amount and run it again. Try to find another gradable copy to get another 10 and put it right back in my collection. Next up, we have Deerling here from Temporal Forces. This is another earlier set in the Scarlet and Violet era. As you all may know, Scarlet and Violet era is coming to an end after Black and White, and we're starting with Mega Evolutions as the new era. Deerling is a beautiful card with the different colorations representing the different seasons. Sawsbuck would have made the list, but I guess if you want to cheat, you can include it. I think Sawsbuck right now is sitting around $20. So 2021, it's a little bit over that $20 price tag for the list. This is, of course, one of the more pricier cards in the list because it's nearing that limit. But it's an absolutely beautiful card. I don't know what the population on this is. I do want a sequential set of these in 10s. But, we look at the 6-month chart. It was a high of like $23, $24. It cratered down to 16. And then it seems like it's recovered and it's built back up and kind of just up and down, sat around just $17, $18, $19 mark. So it's probably where the card's going to be at. Again, we're at the end of summer. I don't know how much further down I expect a lot of these cards to go. And if you like the artwork, it might be a good time to just pick a pair up, to keep for your collection. Next, we have another card from Journey Together, and the reasons I used for the last card still apply. Absolutely love the coloration on this card. It's just a good use of colors. It looks very like coloring book for kids, you know, like very cartoony. Yeah, Iono is a very popular character. This is a very cheap IR. For how this IR looks, I'm surprised that it costs this much. But again, it's a lot of that hate on Journey Together that I think is keeping some of these cards low. I think this is fairly common in some of the collections that I've bought and come across. This card is almost always in them. I don't know what the pull rates for this card are, but anecdotally I've seen it quite a bit from what I've come across. And yet I wonder what the populations are for PSA 10s, because every copy of this card that I've come across has had whitening on it. And I feel like that's true of most Journey Together cards as a whole. If you're looking for clean copies, you know, and you want to pick through it, like I would say it's not a bad time now. I know it's a newer set. I think Journey Together is flying so far under the radar that you can get a lot of these cards at good prices right now. And I really do believe that once Journey Together is out of print, like these things are going to shoot up. I forget who I heard say it, but it's like anytime you get a set that's like overhated and you're looking at it and you're like, why is this so overhated? You know, and you have stuff you like, don't necessarily listen to the people that hate it. Again, PSA. Buy what you like. I like this card. I have a couple of copies of it, and I do want to find a clean copy, or at least a PSA 10. And, you know, looking at the chart here, if we do the 6-month chart, we were at a high of $17. So it's fallen all the way down, and it's at about $5 now. So again, for the 15th time, we're at the end of summer. I don't know how much more it's gonna go down, but this has lost 67%. So if you want to get in on this card, I don't think it's a bad time. For $5 a copy, you can find yourself a couple of PSA 10s and, you know, grade them, put them away for later, and you might have yourself a little gold mine. All right, next card we got here, we have Cynthia's Roserade. Again, same rules apply to any of the newer stuff like Destined Rivals. Buyer beware. Don't listen to me. I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about. I'm mostly talking about the art when it comes to these cards, but this could definitely go lower because it's a newer set, and as more gets open, there's more flooding the market and more chance to price creators. But based on artwork alone, as far as I've seen, Roserade is not really a super popular Pokemon, and you can kind of see it on release. It came out and it kind of just fell, and it's just been falling, and it recovered some. I really like the artwork of Cynthia here. This is more of a Cynthia card for me than a Roserade card, and looking at the artwork here of Cynthia, it gives me a very like 80s anime vibe, right? She looks so melancholy and just looks like one of those like end screens where it's like it's that whole like brushed out, you know, look and everything, and it just looks really cool to me. Reminds me of like Galaxy Express or some older anime like that, or even Gundam, some of the early Gundams, right? I don't know if I pick this up right now. It's technically under $20. It could go higher, it could go lower. We have some last sales of 19, 17, we got 19 with a picture, 18, one at 21, 19, 18, well 19 I guess, 17 and a half, 18. So, but you're gonna see like all-time highs of 18 and down to 16. 16 was the low, and it's recovered. I mean, ultimately it's up to you if you want to get it. I think it's a beautiful card for being under $20, and it's definitely on my radar of things to get. Next up, we got another Destined Rivals card, and this is Blaziken. For people that love Gen 3 lovers, this is a very beautiful IR. This is like an action pose. I don't know, what is it, Blaze Kick or something like that? I love like just like the detail in the claws. I just like how this card looks. And for me, it even being a new card, it's at $15. Yeah, this looks very nice. Do I expect it to hit $10 or something if people open more? I mean, it's possible, right? But the artwork looks so nice. I haven't been able to find a copy yet that would get me in that PSA 10 range, but it just looks good, especially just for being just an IR. Is it going to be something crazy like Magikarp? No, of course not. But it looks really good for something that is so cheap. And of course, you know, we look at the charts. I think the highest was $35. Of course, that was probably pre-release prices. And yeah, we're hovering close to that 15. Again, it could drop lower, or it could start making a climb towards $20 here in the fall and the winter as we get, you know, closer to the holiday season. Yeah, another one. I have a copy of this, but I do want to find a nice gradable copy. Next, we have Chansey from Twilight Masquerade. I love this artwork. I'm not really big on Chansey as a Pokemon. I didn't get the Gen 1 tagline of like, yeah, you can catch one, but it's completely up to chance. was supposed to be a rare Pokemon, I guess, or hard to get and everything. I just like this artwork because you get a bunch of Pokemon in the artwork, right? You're obviously in the Pokemon Center. Chansey's running a delivery. You got Snorlax, you got Blissey, you got Bellsprout, you got Psyduck, and you have Ditto, all here in this little scene. And of course you have like a little scenery in the background outside the window. You got some little hand-drawn art, some notices, whatever. It's just a lot of nice little detail that makes it seem like you're in like a little hospital. Just cool artwork. I have this in the PSA 10. Full disclosure, I'm not pushing it just because I have it. I just like the artwork. And yeah, I mean, it's $18. I think it's worth $18. I honestly think it's probably like a $20 card, $25 card. Maybe it'll get there someday. It's from Twilight. Will they reprint Twilight? I don't know. They might not. Like I said, they're really focused on the last 3-4 sets. And if we look at the 6-month chart, we were at a high of 28, bounced down, and then it recovered, maintained at 27, bounced down and recovered to 26. Then we just started getting into free fall around March. Maybe this could be attributed to some of those IR pumps, but I mean, it seems like it's been pretty damn solid. So it's like the market thinks that this is like a $20 card or around there. So I could fully see it recovering up to 25 come wintertime or something like that. So next up, we have another Journey Together card. I mean, yes, I like the set, but there's just a lot of nice looking IRs in this set. And because there's so much unwarranted hate towards the set, a lot of these are cheap right now. So that's kind of where this is going, is like, if you see something you like from JTG, pick it up. Because it's like, it'll probably go up in the future. And, you know, if you really cherish the artwork, it's like right now is the time, right? Of course, you could wait for the market to crash and then scoop everything up for cheap, if and when that happens. What I will say is, for me at least, I see this as a nice opportunity because it's the summertime, everything has dipped, and you have like these beautiful cards that are being neglected because the set's not scalpable, or it's not, you know, whatever. You're not going to make a ton of money off the set. I love the colors, love the sunset. In Modern, a lot of water Pokemon cards really caught my attention. They really do water really well. Like Reniculus almost made the list, but I was trying to keep it at 10 and then I let it go to 15. But, you know, Reniculus is another good card that has beautiful water artwork. And there's plenty of other ones that just are slipping my mind, but there's some cards that just have beautiful like water depictions on them. But yeah, you can even see the details. This looks like another painting, right? Because you got on the top of the artwork here, you can see the little mini waves from like Wailord breaking the surface and stuff, and that just looks like somebody painted this. The sunset, the little boat here, but you have all these multicolors of like coral and all that stuff down here. It's just a beautiful card. Last I heard, PSA 10s were pretty pricey on this card. I think they were like 150 for a PSA 10, which is not crazy, but considering that the card costs, since its release, about 30 bucks, and it's just been chilling 14, 15, bounced up, it's still chilling 12, 13, 14. Back at $15, I felt like it was a good buy if you were trying to buy at a grade, right? It wasn't a giant investment to try to buy a few, to try to pre-grade them and see what you could get. And now the card is cheaper than when it was. So you have a lot of sales at 12, 13 bucks looking through this list. So it's even cheaper than it was at $15. Now, I don't know what the PSA 10 prices are right now. We can try to take a look here. So yeah, the PSA 10 has gone down. It was 274 at one point. So people caught on the train and started grading more, and the population went up and the value of the card went down, but it's still $100 bucks. But yeah, I really think it's a decent buy if you can find a good copy. Next up, we got another Destined Rivals card, and there's just a lot of good Destined Rivals cards. There's a lot of good artworks in Destined Rivals. A lot of people try to say it was mid and this and that. I think they were just trying to coke. This one might not be everybody's cup of tea because Murkrow's not a super popular Pokemon. It's a Gen 2 Pokemon. I like Murkrow. I think it's pretty cool. I just love the cityscape here in the background. You have Ariana of Team Rocket, Admin, Mother of Silver. Yeah, and it's just not a lot to say. I just love the mix of colors, purple, black. You have the red, the contrasting, all that. It's just a nice card. I have a copy. It's not gradable. I want to get a gradable copy. It's around here, early July. I mean, you could have got it for about $9. That's when I bought in, was about $9. And it's floating around 11 right now. If we look at last solds here, I mean, somebody got one for $9. Got $11, another $10, $10, $11, 11. Somebody bought at 18 almost. I don't know if this Pokemon has enough popularity to carry it all the way through, but I mean, for me personally, If we want to talk about just artwork alone, I love the artwork. Even down here, if you look down here, you see the reflections. And then I realize now that this is outside on a balcony with a glass barrier, and she's leaning over the barrier looking at Murkrow, and the reflection you see here is the reflection of the skyscraper. So this is great artwork. I just love it. Articuno, another Journey Together card. Now this one I think is a good buy right now. Obviously Articuno, a lot of people swear that it's gonna go down as the best card in the set. It looks like snowy plants are like, you know, like those Christmas tree snowflakes, the fake snowflakes you put on your trees during Christmas time, or like a snowy wreath. And you have all the clouds back here. You have a little lake. Does this represent the Seafoam Islands cave where you find Articuno? I have no fucking idea, but it's really nice artwork. I like it. A lot of people like it. It's a Gen 1 legendary Pokemon. I have a PSA 10 of the Japanese version, but I would love a PSA 10 of the English version. A lot of people think this is going to go down as the chase card once Journey Together is dead and done. I'm inclined to agree, but I think Salamence is also one that's out there. It's hard to pull. I haven't seen a lot of people pull it or talk about it. I've been trying to pick me up a copy. That's on my radar too, but that one's obviously over 20 bucks. This one, however, was at 26 on release, and it's been falling. It recovered a little bit at 22, and it's been falling again. We're under $19. We're at 18.5. And let's take a look at last sold. So we have 19, 18.35, 18.99. If you can get one at 17, 18 bucks, you're already under like where it was when it came out. Will it fall anymore? Again, I don't know. I can't predict the future, but if we're set to recover in the fall, as far as card pricing, if the madness is going to start again and run all the way to the next celebrations, as some people think, you know, the next anniversary, then it's only got another month to fall anymore. I mean, you can try to time the bottom, you can try to time whatever you want, or you could pick it up if you like the card. I think the market's spoken, and we're sitting here at like around $18 to $20. It's a $20 card, and it's probably number 3 chase card of the set behind the Clefairy, the Salamence, and then you have this one. So I think it's going to hover around 20, and I think it's going to stick there, and then I think it's going to start going up. Next up, we have Skarmory from Surging Sparks. Another card where it was up there. If we look at the 6-month chart, we had a $20 card, and now we are at about $8. So it lost over half of its value from its high, and it didn't come out at that. It came out at $17, $18 and rose up to 20, and it lost a lot of value. But if you like Gen 3, if you like Skarmory, this is some cool artwork. I mean, I have a copy PSA 10, again, full disclosure. I like the artwork. I made a little bit of content on it for Instagram. It looks very much like a pulp science fiction comic artwork or something. Like this is some sci-fi bird, and this is like a distant planet where there's like mud or something that people's VW vans are stuck in or something. Maybe this is something else. I don't know. I don't know what these are. Can somebody tell me what these are? I have no idea what these are. But anyway, so it's a nice artwork, and it's just a massive discount, big discount. It's $8. You know, you can look at the last solds. It's even less. $7, $6.50, $8. Going down the list, you have a 9 here, a low 6. So yeah, you're getting this at a steep discount from where it's at. Of course, yes, there's more Surging Sparks on the way. Yes, it could become a $5 card at some point. But I mean, if you want it now, it's not a bad time to buy. What, you gonna lose $1 on it? Do I think it'll become a $4, $3, $2 card? I don't know. I know there's a lot of young millennials that love Gen 3. I hate Gen 3, so I couldn't tell you, but Skarmory is a cool guy. He's a cool guy. I'm cool with him. Me and him are cool. Next up, Yveltal. This artwork is fucking sick. I love this card. Again, full disclosure, I have a PSA 10 copy of this card. I picked this up at a card show for 20 bucks and graded it in a 10. Granted, I bought when it was 20, so what, like around here somewhere, and then got it graded, and of course the summer ate into that and whatever, but I don't care because I love the artwork. I bought it because I love the artwork. It literally caught my eye in the case, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I played X and Y. I think I had X. I never played Y. I didn't have a copy of Y, but I remember like I played X, and I'm like, why the fuck do I have this fucking deer? I wanted this evil bird thing. So Yeah, very cool Pokemon. I love this trippy artwork. I love the colors. I love how they're all just one together. It reminds me of the same coloration as polymerization on Yu-Gi-Oh! I love how this looks with the oranges and the blues. You got the flowers up here. You got the mountainside here. It's dark. He's coming through a portal. He's coming to get your ass while you sleep. I love this fucking card. It looks nice. And at under $20, I think it's a good buy. Because again, you got Paradox Rift. It's an earlier set. I don't think we're gonna get just a bunch of Paradox booster boxes out of nowhere. Do I see it going to 10? I don't think so. I think it's gonna chill at 15 here for a bit, and you know, might start going back up. But I thought this card was a $20 card at minimum. So all right, Zeraora. The reason I picked this is because this artwork looks cool. It looks like an album cover for a synthwave album. You got all the pinks and purples. You got the yellows and the blues. I think Zeraora is a mythical. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Not a legendary? Or is it a legendary? And what game is it from? Is it from X and Y? Or Sword and Shield? I don't know. I've never come across it. But yeah, it's not a regular Pokemon. So Zeraora is not very popular. There's probably Zeraora fans out there somewhere. Probably. I like the artwork on this card. It's from Stellar Crown. I don't think there's too many people opening Stellar Crown right now. Squirtle fell. Bulbasaur fell. There wasn't a big, huge card to chase after because they kept trying to make Terapagos a thing. Terapagos never became a thing. Might become a thing later because little kids who grew up watching the anime now might love Terapagos. Zeraora might become a thing someday. I don't know. But I don't think people see Stellar Crown as like some set that they have to rip open or they have to do whatever. So I don't know how many copies we're going to see out there in the future. I mean, it's not a card that was ever super expensive to begin with. It slots in perfectly on this list. If you like the artwork, you want to spend a little $8, it's not a bad pickup. If you like the art, just get what you like. That's the name of the game. You want to play it safe. You want to not worry about these prices, not worry about whatever. Pick up what you want. Right now, all I'm saying is things are down because of the summer, and now it's a good time to scoop up some stuff if you've had your eye on some shit. There's plenty of beautiful artworks to be found for under 20 bucks. You don't gotta spend 30. You don't gotta spend 50. You don't gotta spend 100. You could spend a good little $8 or $9 and get you a nice little card at a card show or even on TCG Player. There's plenty of good artworks out there under that whole $20 range. There's probably a bunch of good artworks that are under $10. I can do a video on that. I could dig up some ones that I like, I'm sure. This probably would have made the cut. It's under $10. And finally, this is more of a bonus. I think this is 16. I'm not advocating that you get this card now. I'm just saying that eventually when it falls again, it might be a good time to pick it up because people are going to get done with the pump and dump and it's going to fall and all that. But this goes more for the stamp promo. I like the stamp on here. It's too bad that there's nothing beyond the stamp that differentiates it from the regular IR. But I mean, it ends a very popular character. And the artwork looks heavenly. It looks really cool. It's too bad that it's part of like a pump and dump because I mean you can see this crazy chart here, and some of this is just from the hype of Journey Together, and then it crashed all the way down to like $11, and then you see here it's 23, and then it crashed down to 13, and then it went back up to 20, and now it's at 20 again. So it's very up and down. But I would say if you could get something closer to the low than the high, you know, it might be worth something as like a long-term keep, or if you can get like a PSA 10 or something if you like the artwork. I like the artwork, and I have a copy, so I'm good on that. But I would like a PSA 10 copy of this stamp promo, and I think long term it would be a good hold. Just depends on what we get as far as a Journey Together booster box reprint. I've heard that going forward they're still going to do the enhanced booster box. Yeah, even right now the Mega Evolution set is an enhanced booster box with the promos with a box topper. So I guess we'll see how many end up out in the wild, and then once we go from there, then it becomes, well, how many are actually 10 worthy. It's technically a little bit over $20, so this is why it's more of an extra and not part of the actual list. But I'm saying keep an eye on it, and if it falls back down to like $13, $14, like I would say just scoop it up at that price. Yeah, guys, that was my little list of cards that you could get, specifically illustration rares, modern illustration rares you can get for under 20 bucks. You do not have to spend an arm and a leg to get you some nice looking cards, especially if you're just starting, especially if you're a beginner. You can get some pretty beautiful cards for some pretty cheap prices. It just depends, you know, if you like the art or if you're chasing the value. You know, if you're chasing the value, sometimes you gotta spend more to get more. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can predict something will end up good and you can be a winner on that. But the only way to do that is to buy the card you like. Buy the card you like at a cheap price, and if they fly, they fly, and you can make the decision if you want to get rid of your pet piece or not. But yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys again soon.